New rules are coming in for IR35 contractors. So I thought I'd do a working example to see if you're better off or worse off as a contractor and what the difference is. In this video, I'm going to go through what you would be paid as a salary if you're on £80,000 a year and compare that to what you would earn as a contractor on £500 a day. Let's do the sums and see if you would be better off as a contractor, and if you are better off, just by how much. If you like this video, please comment, like and share the video, and if you don't want to miss out on future videos, then please subscribe to the channel. So without further ado, let's get into the detail and do the calculations and see how they work out. So if you've got an £80,000 salary, first of all, you'll pay employees' national insurance. Your employer will pay employers' national insurance, but that's not your problem. There'll be £5,564 of employees' national insurance. For this example, I'm going to assume that you don't have student loans. Student loans are at 9%, but I'm assuming that you've paid those off already. In addition to national insurance, you'll also pay income tax. You'll pay basic rate income tax and you'll pay higher rate income tax. And having done the calculations, you'll pay £7,500 of basic rate income tax and £12,000 of income tax at the higher rate. So if you add those together, it's £19,500. So if you add up the £5,564 national insurance and the £19,500 of income tax, the total tax that you'll pay with the national insurance is £25,064. So that leaves you with £54,936, which is £4,578 a month. It's also worth noting that with £80,000 of salary, you won't get any child benefit. So let's see what you get as a contractor on £500 a day. The whole point about IR35 is that you behave like an employee, you're taxed like an employee, and if you behave like a self-employed person, then you're taxed like a self-employed person. So this example is as if you're self-employed and you're taxed as a self-employed person. Now I do have to make some assumptions about your expenses and about who works in the business, but I've made some assumptions and I can go through these now with you. The first assumption is how many days you work. So if you earn £500 a day for 220 days a year, then your total income will be £110,000 a year. So there's a whole load of calculations to make in order to work out what you'd earn as a self-employed person within a limited company. So first of all, you and maybe somebody else who helps you, maybe your partner, your life partner. So you might have two salaries going through. So two salaries at £12,500 is £25,000. But on that £25,000, you pay a little bit of national insurance, £464. So you'll be left with £2,064 a month for your salary. But then of course you'd get some dividends. So before tax, you'd also take off your expenses. Now there's a difference between your expenses, which you can claim as an employee, and those that you can claim as somebody who's self-employed. If you're employed, the rule is wholly, exclusively and necessarily for your employment. But if you're self-employed, it's just wholly and exclusively for your business. Now in layman's terms, I can simplify this hugely. If you're an employee, you get virtually no expenses. Whereas if you're self-employed, you can get quite a few expenses, and those reduce your profit and therefore your tax bill. So if you've got £25,000 of salary and you've got £10,000 of expenses, you end up with a profit of £75,000. That will then be taxed at 19%. So your tax is £14,250. If you take that off your profit, then you end up with £60,750. But there is another tax, because the company is taxed with corporation tax, but you are also taxed a dividend tax, which is 7.5%. The dividend tax in this example would be £4,256. So that leaves you with just over £56,000. Now if you divide that by 12, you get another £4,707 a month, which you can add to the salary of £2,064. So you get £6,751 every month. Now if you compare that to what you get as a salary, you're £2,173 better off, which is just a huge difference. £2,000 a month is obviously life-changing, and that is why people are very keen to prove they're IR35 compliant. They want to continue with their company and not become employees. So there we have the differences between being IR35 compliant and being an employee. Please put any comments that you have in the comment section, and thank you for watching.